Welcome to the Explainer. Look, there's a massive shift happening right now in enterprise engineering. Those wild, chaotic days of experimental AI, they're officially over. It's time we step into the era of predictable, professional infrastructure. Because if you're managing engineering teams that are using AI coding agents, you absolutely need to understand how to architect what we call authorized efficiency. So today, we're going to unpack exactly how to do that using the EdgeK BEAST architecture. Here's our roadmap to plug those massive leaks in your API budget. We're going to hit the AI token spendthrift problem, run through the BEAST core commitments, and look at protocol unification. After that, we'll dive into the context economy, governing tools, and then wrap the whole thing up with a measurable ROI. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The AI token spendthrift.
I want you to really reflect on your own systems for a second here. Why is your AI coding agent just absolutely burning through your API budget? If you've glanced at your build recently, you've probably seen those skyrocketing, completely unpredictable costs. The truth is, unchecked, ungoverned AI setups are treating your API budget like an open fire hydrant. And it's not a pricing issue, right? It's actually a fundamental architectural failure in state management. And honestly, there are three major culprits behind those bloated bills. First up is the tool tax. This is that massive recurring overhead where you're injecting full tool schemas into every single request, even when they're not needed at all. Second is the context tax. This is where massive build logs and completely redundant files are just blindly sent over, bloating your prompt to high heaven. And the absolute worst offender? Token bonfires. This is when an unchecked agent just blindly repeats failing commands, entering this infinite, incredibly expensive loop. Without any runtime intervention, you're literally paying for every single useless turn.
Moving right along, Section 2, EdgeK BEAST core commitments.
So the crucial shift we need to make here is moving away from a simple proxy that just hides your tokens and instead establishing a really smart middleman, one that actually thinks before it spends. See, the chaotic direct-to-model approach just dumps all your context and tools into a prompt and hopes for the best. But the EdgeK BEAST architecture acts as a governed execution broker. It intercepts the request to make absolutely sure that every token spent is an investment in reasoning, not just a tax on your infrastructure. This entire architectural foundation is built on 5 non-negotiable commitments to system governance. BEAST basically acts as the central brain here, and these 5 pillars hold up the whole concept of authorized efficiency.
So what are they? Well, these core commitments mean normalizing your data so you completely avoid a vendor lock-in, compressing context to stop that prompt bloat we talked about, restricting tools to a strict least privilege model, pausing agent thrashing with hard runtime controls, and relentlessly auditing every single token through forensic observability. Let's actually break down the most impactful ones.
Section 3. Unification simplifies provider integration. Okay, so if your engineering team is out there testing multiple models, your infrastructure is probably completely fragmented right now. EdgeK BEAST steps in and solves this by acting as a universal translator. It takes all that disparate AI provider traffic and standardizes it into a single unified pipeline. So, whether your engineers are sending Anthropic messages, OpenAI chats, or Gemini content, it all flows seamlessly right into one central adapter. How does it do that? It achieves this unification by creating a Request Intermediate Representation, or IR. And honestly, this Request IR is the secret sauce. It's what enables your API gateway to apply really strict security and spending rules evenly across all models without having to write custom code for each vendor. Your budget annotations, your tool limits, your cache handles, they are all enforced universally. It makes your governance completely provider neutral.
Section 4, Context Economy reduces waste.
Which brings us to the context economizer. You know, traditional systems try to save tokens using really dangerous reject stripping, which can accidentally delete critical code comments or just completely break your active edits. Not great. BEAST takes a much smarter approach. It safely filters out the noise while preserving the absolute truth of your codebase. It's actively preserving exact code for active edits and maintaining line numbers for really precise anchoring. And this compression happens in 3 really intelligent tiers. First, lossless cleanup steps in and removes the raw noise, like ANSI codes, and folds duplicate lines together. Next, we have structure-aware compression, which uses AST mapping to fold terminal lines, giving the model this sort of structural sketch of the file. And finally, semantic compression comes in and retrieves only the specific code slices that are strictly necessary for the task at hand. It's literal precision engineering, designed specifically for your context window. Okay, Section 5, Governing Tools and Failure Loops. Now, one of the most powerful cost-saving concepts in this entire architecture is something called tool laziness. Think about it. Instead of blindly sending your whole entire tool library to the model on every single turn, Beast dynamically loads only the necessary tool schemas, and it bases this strictly on the detected task intent. By practicing tool laziness, you are keeping your prompts incredibly lean, and you drastically reduce the security surface area of your operations at the same time.
Under this architecture, every single tool is treated as untrusted out of the gate. The governed MCP operates exactly like a least privilege vault. It employs schema pinning to prevent any unauthorized alterations, and it automatically strips out hidden prompt injections. But most importantly, it requires explicit intent or even human-in-the-loop approval before executing destructive actions, like, say, database migrations. So suddenly, your tools transform from being this massive token tax into securely governed assets.
And to permanently extinguish those token bonfires we mentioned earlier, Beast implements rigorous runtime governance. On one side, you've got the stasis wall, which uses a proactive scheduler to track rate limits. It queues high-risk tasks so your system gracefully handles 429 errors without just crashing. But the circuit breakers, those are your real financial safeguards. When an agent panics and starts thrashing, like endlessly repeating a failing test, these circuit breakers literally snap. They freeze the budget and force a strategy pivot way before you ever pay for the machine's hallucination.
All right, Section 6, ROI of authorized efficiency.
Let's talk bottom line. The financial impact of implementing this is immediate, and it is undeniable. You are transforming agent coding from a series of wildly expensive guesses into a highly disciplined, observable workflow. Organizations are seeing massive reductions, anywhere between 30 and 70% in total input tokens just from the context economizer alone. And that comes alongside near-zero crashes from provider rate limits.
But the standout metric here? 70%. That is the staggering reduction in tool schema overhead that you can achieve simply by turning on lazy intent-based loading. I mean, that is pure, unadulterated waste just being eliminated from your daily API spend. It directly protects your bottom line, all while actually maintaining or even improving your coding quality.
So I want to leave you with a final thought today, just to challenge how you view your current setup. Take a hard look at your workflows and ask yourself, is your current AI infrastructure a tool or is it a tax? Because I guarantee you, if it isn't governed, it's taxing your context windows, it's taxing your security, and it is definitely taxing your budget. I invite you to start building a disciplined execution broker today and finally take control of your tokens. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next explainer.